Freaky Table is brought to you by Nikki Hit Beauty Academy, opposite Vision Comfort, Sable Bonamusadi Douala.
Hello everyone and welcome to Freaky Table. It's your girl Joan Gumba. Yana and Kwa are with me in the studio and we have a lot to talk about. Obviously, the Grammys 2022 is over, but the discussions about Wizkid and Angelique Kidjo and of course Arooj Aftad has not ended. So we get to discuss that and bring it to the Cameroon's perspective in music. And my guys are here to help us out. All right. So, okay. You might win Grammy or now.
Oscar.
Best performance.
You slapped or you got slapped? Which one?
Best Ashawo performance. Best Ashawo performance. Quite longer.
Keep my name out of your fucking mouth.
I don't care you.
You guys look very handsome today. I love it. I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Cool. The senator.
Oh yes, oh yes.
So good, so good. What are you wearing, by the way?
I'll tell of a new belt.
Some backside so.
Kululu.
Men down select.
Kululu. Yeah, you look amazing. I love your tie.
You.
Awesome. So we got the Grammys to talk about. I know that the rest of the continent will perhaps be Nigeria in particular will be very upset about this Grammy for the very longest of time. But first of all, how did you guys feel when Angelique Kidjo beat, her Mother Nature album, beat Wizkid's Made in Lagos album in the Best Global Album category? How was your feeling? Like just first reaction.
First reaction. Oh, I'm like, here we go again. That's my reaction. Like, here we go again.
Here we go again. Let me ask Elonge. Elonge, how was your reaction?
Was it only two of them who were nominated?
No, we don't.
No, I mean, they were the topic. They were the ones leading the conversation after that.
I did not care that way. I was like, okay. It really did not bother me.
Okay.
Yes, I thought like I knew she would win.
Yeah, exactly. That's the
So it's like a presidential election in Cameroon.
This one is advanced democracy.
You understand? The Grammys version, where they have.
But I knew. I think I knew. It was almost clear that she would win.
Yeah.
Okay. So by the argument or someone tweeted that the Mother Nature was all about climate change, which that was the global eyes were on that particular issue. So if she sang about it, she emphasized on it and talked about how Africa's economy is going to be affected by climate change, she stood a better chance of winning than an album made in Lagos that glorified the African women, talked about love, talked about all the sweet things
The street life.
our youths talk about these days. But I mean, is that a valid reason why someone's gonna win in that category?
I mean, when you look at it from that perspective, you can think so because it's a general idea that songs from Africa have to fit a certain stereotype or fit into a certain box, right? And that they have to touch certain themes for them to seek European or Western validation. So that's really, really it. I look at even Burna Boy's Twice, the album which won Twice a Store. The elements he touched on are really sociopolitical elements, which the West think these are things you should be talking about in your music, right? But then when you look at Made in Lagos, right, it's the everyday thing which an African goes through, but more pop culturally. In a way, it sort of reinforces the idea that to speak from an African perspective, you must speak about certain themes that must touch certain issues, which the Europeans think are more of priority than what the everyday person feels. Because I don't think the album is more African than Wizkid's Made in Lagos in terms of the things of what it explores. It's just that it explores different things pop culturally or culturally. So it's about the artist's own style and their perspective on things. So you could listen to Made in Lagos because it's treated lightly and with more. The sound is more diverse. I don't want to say more diverse before it's not more diverse, but you could feel it's more hip. You understand? But then Angelique Kidjo has cool already. She's an old school artist, and the things she's going to treat are different, and the kind of audience she also appeals to are different. So I think when you start judging on things like climate change, it gets a tick. No, this touches things of social life, and not good enough. So you're sort of defining what Africa should look like or Africa should be. And then also, with that also, I looked at, global music, and then it has to compete with many songs from different countries. So are we going to say which one is more priority in the world? Okay, climate change is more priority, is of more priority, and it's affecting Africa more. So what happens in Asia? Do they have to start talking about floods? No. I'm saying that's the impression that they sort of give, right? If you base it on that, I'm not saying that's what the Grammys based it on. But then when you look at the track record, they sort of look at issues themes whether
more global.
Yeah, or more that they feel like, okay, this deserves more attention than
Elongish.
Yeah.
Elongish, what do you think? First of all, that category has beneath it. It talked about the criteria for winning.
Yeah.
That category. It also has to do with how influential the album was.
Yeah.
But also, they don't count the charts.
Yeah, not commercial success
And streaming.
But what is inflation?
But what does that even mean in 2022 when you don't include chart positions and stuff?
Yeah.
There are albums that have been created that the most of the albums that deal with social causes and political causes are not necessarily albums that will sell mainstream. And so that's why for categories like that, they shift away from commercial success. Because trust me, if they were going with commercial success, pop songs,
I mean, BTS would just sweep everything at the Grammys. BTS is sweeping everything at the Grammys.
Will always be there. And these are songs which are recorded in the studio with one take. Like, they are not layered in terms of instrumentation and all of those things. So, I first of all think that the first thing is, this was not an African category.
Yeah. No, it wasn't.
This was a global category.
Exactly the point. So
and in which case, everybody stood a fair chance to win. When you look at the criteria that they use for this particular category, I don't think my first problem is with the nomination of Wizkid's album in that category. Yes, that it doesn't fit really into the global album category. I was thinking, and I think a lot of people share this, was that my own problem has always been with the fact that why is Essence not why is not contesting for record of the year with the general Grammy categories? Because it was one of the biggest songs globally. And so I don't know why it's not in the major categories. Why it's not in Song of the Year? Why is the album not in album of the year? So to me that was a bigger thing, because I knew Angelique Kidjo would do it, because in terms of the range of subject matter, that category defines it. So it's not her fault. It's just clear that she would win. You understand? And the body of work is there. The team she explore and all that. So it just fits into the category. That is a misnomer with Made in Lagos. Made in Lagos does not fit into that category at all. And my problem with this debate has always been like, people try to water down Angelique Kidjo's body of work.
No, but the thing about it is that Longish, when somebody wins all the time in a category, it feels like, okay, but whether they nominate other people or not, she will stand a chance of winning. So everybody's like, nah, Mama won that category or nah.
She has not lost.
She lost just last year.
She lost now against Burna Boy. This is it.
And the year before that, she was Burna Boy and her, the main subject matter, and then she lost. When she won. When she came on stage, she dedicated the award to Burna Boy because she felt like what's it called? The album was better than that's what she felt. This year, she won over Wizkid's album. Well, that's the two people we're talking about in the category. She won. When she came to take the award, she thanked every Nigerian artist who worked with her in the album, excluding no shout out to Wizkid or the other nominees. So Nigerians took offense to that.
First of all, I just want to say that it has nothing to do with Nigerians.
No, because you know why? Because I think Nigerians always find a way of centering themselves in certain debates, right? It's this main character syndrome where they feel like, okay, because it's happening right now, it's about us, right? And it's sort of got to a point where they're trying to belittle the work Angelique Kidjo has done all the years. And you're like, are you even okay?
And the thing is, I'm saying based on the category, she's much more qualified to win. Based on that category.
I mean, it's her home.
You understand? And the thing is, you have to understand they were talking about the Grammys. They are not talking about VMAs, where it's a popularity contest, where people vote like that. This one, you are dealing with people who've written books on music, these are elitists when it comes to their taste in music. The musicologists and the critics that make up the voting panel, their sense of music and the things they use in judging music is really different from what the lay person uses to judge the music. They'll look at lyricism. How good, how layered, what are the themes that you explore in that album? You understand? When you take those two and you take the elitist mindset, you know that the judges will be going for Angelique Kidjo. Now, you look at how layered the instrumentation is, the sonic elements and all those type of things. It's better.
True, okay, but if at all we have been talking about Modern Nature made in Lagos, right? We also have Best Global Music Performance.
Yes.
Wizkid lost. Essence lost. Against Arooj Aftab, her song Mohabbat.
She was nominated for Best New Artist. Best New. She's like a new artist.
She's a new act, but she's not so young though. But her music is young. And Wizkid lost again in that category, which was really strange because I mean,
do you know why it was strange? I think it's strange because generally, like the longest said at the beginning, there's the.
I don't see why. See, I don't see the big force in this thing. I think the bigger issue is the fact that it's in the wrong category. No. And if they start defining this thing and start factoring in genres that are African, which have become global, like the Afrobeat and all of that, then these people, Wizkid stands a much more competitive chance. Because
doesn't that go down? You explained something about the panel, the experts who make the jury and all of that.
An African,
so I didn't know missing. Is something not missing there?
I'm saying if you've already defined that. First of all, there's a perception bias. That one we agree. In that if you're in a category with Angelique Kidjo, there's always the bias already that this is just a legend. It's like being nominated now. People say that thing now. People say it. If you are nominated against Beyonce, the Grammys have a perception bias that for somebody who've done Lemonade, who've done this, right? It's more likely that she will win because her music. I mean, after not the first Beyonce music, but this one now, fits into what the Grammy elitist voter is looking for. Now, this category has defined that this is how the music has to be, right? Now, it is either you broaden the scope of the category to be more encompassing, so create more categories. The Grammy has created more categories. It has. Yeah. It has created more categories. So they can create more so that, but to me, what pissed me was that on a fair playing ground, Essence should have been competing in the main categories. So I even feel like these are consolatory nominations. Going for whether a global weighty and global weighty. Like I'm not dismissive of it, but it doesn't capture the range of the music or the album.
Just the category itself, right? Global, okay. Yeah, you're looking at songs from different countries, right? That have different cultures. So I
it's really about messaging. That particular category is really about composition and messaging and
feelings. The name of it. If I thought they are going with global, they should change the name of that category. So it makes more sense because you cannot say what does global mean.
They have it defined.
No, we get that because it was changed from world music to global, and then we don't even see the point. It's like just what's the point? I mean, it's like putting old wine in a new bottle. I mean, like you see, there will not be
this whole thing is they need to define more.
But a big question on Twitter, which everybody was asking, not just the Nigerians, like Africans in general, was why is Afrobeat music, the genre itself, not included in the mainstream categories for the Grammys?
Having its own category or just...
is it that way? Why is it not? I mean, because people listen to Afrobeat, they use the sound of it. Kelly Rowland did a whole song, Fela, everything. Justin Bieber jumped on Essence. Yeah. You know, we've had American artists, Snoop Dogg sang with D'banj. We've had Rick Ross sing with. So even
this man's December EP, yes,
he sang with Lapiro, which is fine. So why is Afrobeat not included in the mainstream categories for the Grammys?
Okay, there are two things here for me. I think on one side, right, if you have to start giving Afrobeat its own category, for example, you have to start giving every other genre of African music its own category.
No, you don't have to.
Hold on.
R&B has an R&B.
What I'm saying is that's one side of it, right? The other side is right. We can see the idea where okay, because Afrobeat is right now the most exported African genre of music, right? It gives us the opportunity. It gives Africa not the opportunity, but the platform, right, to push the music further beyond boundaries. Because the idea is if you can export Afrobeat, right? What about house music, which is typically South African, for example, right? Makossa. So would you, when it becomes as big as that, will you start demanding its own category?
Yes. That's exactly the point.
Yes.
So Grammy is the biggest music award in the world.
And
include the world.
I start by saying that in many ways, because of how exclusionary these things are, Africans and other people who are not represented should not take this as standards.
Well, they should.
That's I say these things should not even be standards, because if you are not represented, then you're
clearly not wanted there.
You clearly cannot even compete, and so you're begging to have a seat.
Meanwhile, Tyler Perry says that if you don't have a seat, go and create your own table.
So to me, I feel like that's the first problem. The second thing is that the academy then has to catch up with what is happening globally. See, there are categories in the Grammys that did not exist.
Yes.
So the Grammys has to move with time, because obviously when they were creating the academy and all of these genres, they did not foresee Afrobeat becoming global. But this is the leading African. No, the leading genre. That, you know, when I say African genre, it looks like this is the trend in music. Now, if this were a sound, I would think that this were a sound that was coming from Europe or America, just like electro pop and all of these ones. They would have quickly found their way into categories in the Grammys. You understand? So I don't know why it will have to take so much. A lot of proving of self before this can be included. Because that's the problem. If it was included as Afrobeat and all of that, if other African or sounds from other countries become that popular, become that global, become that international, then they should be able to be integrated into it.
Pretty much. I'm just because the thing is, I'm looking at it from just two perspectives of the arguments which are really leading online, right? That's really it. And yes, also, I mean, for facts, it should actually be its own thing. But then again, based on that whole question and the whole debate, there's this fear. I think Clarice didn't get expressed this fear on Twitter. Because some whites won the best reggae over Jamaican music. It was a whole debate on Jamaican Twitter, and then she expressed this fear, saying that one day just an American winning Afrobeat. I'm like, Justin Bieber is on his way to that. We are not even far from it.
Yeah, but it's music now.
No, I'm just saying that in terms of the fact that we also, in terms of exporting the music, there's a way also as we're exporting the music, we have to not protect it, but also stamp our authority on it, so that when it comes to things like nominations, in terms of defining the sound, we are the ones taking the lead in those things. And we go also to who's included in the academy and who defines what this category is supposed to be about. So that's really...
I agree. But yes, I agree. But there is this this idea which I've never understood, because I remember somebody in going through some of the crazy debates on Twitter, someone was saying, they are afraid to create categories for Afrobeat because they are afraid that it will take over the other.
So taking over.
It will take over the other. It would eclipse the other American genre. I'm like, it will not. It will not eclipse it. It would just be another genre that is popular. See, R&B has been there, hip hop has been there, and all of these things. Country, all of them have been there. Latinos have top charts in America, right? They have not eclipsed America. They have billions of views, and more than Afrobeat, and they've not eclipsed it. They will not eclipse it. The issue is that we just want more representation in it. Number two is, if you want the genre to be global, you cannot also be very parochial, nationalistic about how you export it. People should be able to find inspiration in it who do not belong to that community from which it comes out. So people should be able to, blacks should be able to, not blacks, but Africans should be able to do country And Africa should be able to do country
And excel in it.
and excel in it
Yeah.
because it's music. If I have inspiration in that, I should do it. You understand? So I think the idea that we should be protective of that genre as an identity marker for Africans, doesn't make sense. No, I'm talking based on that argument.
Yeah.
I want to just add to that. Joey Akan from Afrobeat Intelligence, he tweeted, and I'll just read this. He said, "The world hasn't seen the greatest Afrobeat artist yet."
Yeah.
He said, "It might be a Kelly Ashton from Connecticut, who grew up listening to Wizkid and Burna Boy and has access to more resources than his counterparts in Surulere. Globalization is coming, Abi. We go fill up." That's what he.
I think there's a follow-up tweet to that where he talked about how protecting. He also about protecting, not really protecting in the sense of keeping, but also being of people of these artists, right? Taking the music with more authority. You understand now? Establishing it with more
Like how we
just imposing themselves on the genre. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, right? These people will come in, they'll fabricate these artists, right?
How are we going to feel when, say, Beyonce comes and
it's not far, Joan, it's not far
and
away.
goes to the Grammy and win Best
Justin
Bieber
Bieber is going to do it. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but the problem
how are we going to feel you as a Cameroonian or a
I'm judging.
artist?
We'll be judging on the music, and not see the history.
not-
the
Not
history.
the person who sang it.
No.
not the person's background, the person's cultural
That
background.
in itself will be exclusionary. It would also be
But you know,
racist.
someone can make the argument that they generally the whole award system itself is exclusion.
Yes, that's what we've
It's like
made
you
here
sing
now.
something
Yes.
out of
That's what we've
American
made here now.
music, then you
That's
are-
what
don't belong.
we've made the argument here that in itself, the fact that it's not even factored in as a genre in itself excludes. That's why we're asking for more integration, more involvement, and all of that. So part of the involvement is that everybody should be able to make the music they want to do it.
Why is it our own now?
We grew up.
That's a street argument.
Even Simo was singing R&B. We grew up as Cameroonians.
Yes.
The hip hop thing and everything. It's not something that came from Bafo tribe. People are doing it here because it's something which is appropriated.
Yes.
It's as if we behave sometimes as if Africans cannot appropriate other cultures.
They
Do you
absolutely
understand?
can.
We have done it. We've done it.
Even pop culturally, in terms of style, most artists, it's appropriated style. So
That's what I'm saying. So R&B, we know people who are singing that thing in this very Cameroon. Who used to
You
blow.
need to sing something that you're EP.
Now Valeria said, "Oh, if you get that." You know, so.
But haven't you ever sat down and wondered why BET, that is like, more pro-black culture, hasn't appreciated Fela Kuti for creating Afrobeat? Yet they've appreciated a lot of people for being R&B, lifetime.
But I think there's a lot of catching up to be done when it comes to Africa. When it comes to Africa and Africa creations, there is music, there is other literature and everything. There is a lot of catching up that it's supposed to be done. Remember that it's only now that mindsets are really changing with globalization and interaction, and people are able to appreciate the genius of Africa. So, and some people are still in denial because most of those academies are made up of old people who are stuck in old ways. And trust me, racism is not only directed, so it will not be racism now, but colorism and whatever. It's not only directed at white, black, but maybe African American to African.
Foundational black Americans.
Like that. So, yeah, I think people are catching up with. There's still a lot to be done.
But what you just said just almost takes it back to what we talked about, the global music category, right? Where you have to explore certain themes, that these themes which the voting academy has to see it in your music.
They're the ones defining what
Exactly.
Africa is.
Exactly the point. So which
Africans
means
have the right to sing
that
love.
category, that category is not
women.
defining Africa. What is important in Africa? It's defining
the themes you should
the
explore.
theme. No, it doesn't tell you the theme, but it talks about the artistic expressions and all of these things they have to explore. It's not akin to Africa. There are other countries and other things.
But you remember this, the argument which you just cited here on Twitter, where somebody said because she explores things like climate change and things like that, right?
Which was the main theme of that album.
Yeah. So it's almost the same thing where you must have, your music must carry a certain kind of perspective for it to be.
This is not only for that particular.
So
It's not only for global. See, if you go for album of the year, they need the big categories, right? you will see like Beck, the album don't win. The album when you talk about die, you know, kind of thing, them pain, depression.
Billie Eilish.
Yes, but then it's that they are looking at, sometimes they think that those things have more range.
Yeah.
It's also, see, if you go into the world of writing, there is something called pop fiction and literary fiction.
Yeah.
So when literary fiction, they're like, okay, this one, why the story in itself might not be a strong story, but the writing, they think that, oh, it's more superior in the way it's written, it's more stylistic,
yeah.
and it has depth, it has layers and all of that. And you go and you're reading, say, pop fiction, and some pop fiction, and the story might be better, might be stronger. These are always the movies, the ones that are turned into movies.
Yeah.
But people feel like, oh, they are not deep in how they explore the human experience and all of that. So it's the same with music. It's the same elitist. See, it's different from VMAs, because VMAs now, it's people now.
Yeah.
Now, as I feel and why they vote them. Person of you can tell me, say, because Explore die. They die important. So they talk about stages of die for music. See, you can tell me how. So you know, like there is different, like that's the popular thing versus the elitist thing. And the thing is, the Grammys, whether I like it or not, is an elitist thing. And it has stayed that way for such a long time. They are trying to put something, but it is not. Because see, they look at pop music as something which is just bubblegum. Like it's just there. There is no more range attached to it, right? Like and if you do something a little bit experimental, oh, they are looking at the instrumentation, they are looking at the themes, and all of that. Beyonce, first time just sing single ladies, put your hands up. Now so police brutality. Yeah. Now so marriage. And when she does that, that's when their media and those people who are elitist.
But it gives the media a lot of things to talk about too, which is great. Anyway, I feel like guys, I think that listen, the discussion is going to continue on YouTube. Clearly, what do you think? Should Afrobeat be included in the mainstream categories for the Grammys? And do you also think that maybe the jury for the Grammys ought to be more inclusive? Perhaps the age range and all of those, and all of the gender, all of that. What should be done? We fought so hard for Oscar to become not so white. So maybe it's time for us to fight for Grammys not to be so old school. All right. So maybe that's it. But what do you think? Tell us what you think. Do you think Made in Lagos by Wizkid was better than Mother Nature by Angelique Kidjo? What do you think of Essence? What do you think of African music in general? When will the Makossa music, you know, be included in best pop music or best R&B category or best global music at the Grammys? So,
Look at you! Look at you!
German.
all right, guys. Wow. As you can see, we definitely got surprised or set by celebrating the longest birthday from all his friends, his colleagues. I mean, just look at everybody's faces. People who love him dearly. And Antifa, clearly, I mean, I don't know how to say, guys. We're just going to close this Grammy episode with this amazing friends of ours. Thank you guys so much for watching and keeping tabs with us. Please follow us on all social media platforms at Freaky Table. Please follow Auntie Feli to see the rest of the celebration of this birthday. Thank you guys so much. And please wish Elonge, our dear colleague on set, a happy birthday in the comment section. Thank you for watching. It's Joan, Yana, Kwa, and everyone else. It's a goodbye. Stay safe.
Elizabeth.
Happy birthday to you.
Freaky Table is brought to you by Nikki Hit Beauty Academy, opposite Vision Comfort, Sable Bonamusadi Douala.
Thanks for watching the dopest TV show right now.
And don't forget to subscribe so that you can see our beautiful faces. Scratch that, our handsome faces. No, my handsome face. Fine. I'm handsome.
Oh, God.
Okay.
All right, guys, to never miss a thing, follow us on all social media platforms at Freaky Table, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So yeah, stay tuned.